You are listening to Zen and the Art of Triathlon.
Well, hey there, all you triathlon studs and studettes. This is Coach Brett Blankner with another great episode of Zen and the Art of Triathlon. Hey, we got a really cool guest this show, Olof Dallner. Who's Olof? You may have never heard of him before. You're never going to forget him after this interview. This is crazy. Olof is a winner of a Quintuple Ironman and also the champion of 2 Spartan Death races, maybe 3. I think in the interview he says whether he's won 2 or 3. So a Quintuple Ironman is where you do 5 Ironmans in a row, nonstop, and the pattern for this one was you do the swim first, all of the swim, and then all of the bike, and then all the run. So it's a 10K swim, which is, it was like a 12-mile swim, I think. 12-mile swim, and then you do a 500 and something mile bike ride, and believe me, at the end of that bike ride, those somethings really start to hurt. And then a 120-something mile run, and he won it. Now, it's a small entry field because only a few people are crazy enough to try something like this. But his advice and his tips on how to go long is usable for all distances, right? Because he's obviously mastered endurance sports. And then also these Spartan Death races are they're so difficult because there is no finish line. They keep pushing everybody to keep going until a certain percentage has quit and only, like 5 or 10% is left. And if you're one of the last ones standing, then they go ahead and call the race and decide who won. And there's a winter version and a summer version. And we talk about this at length. It is just crazy. I'm super excited to bring Olof to you from his science lab, no kidding, in New York City via Skype. It's a really cool call. And then after that, we've got some emails and some fun stuff. And then I take you with me on the training log, which culminates in me going on a back-to-back long run weekend where 2 days in a row I run 17 and a half miles on trails. And I'm training for the Rocky Raccoon 50. And on day 1, I try a fuel called Vitargo. And then on day 2, I try basically cake icing, which is maltodextrin powder and Gatorade mixed together. And yeah, it's like cake icing. And I compare the two, and you'll be really interested in the results of one, really expensive, scientifically validated in a lab product versus another really cheap and a very available resource on 3-hour runs back to back, and it gets really, really interesting. That ends up wrapping up the show for us. So let's go ahead and get started with our interview with Mr. Olof Dallner. Here we go.
Welcome to the next level.
Hey.
Hey, man.
How's it going?
Hey.
Hey. Cool. All right. I'm here with Olof Dallner.
Hey, how's it going, Brett?
It's going really well, man. I've been looking forward to this interview for quite a while, man. You are... my questions are going to kind of skip all over the place because you've done so much, you've done such a variety of things
yeah, it's been a mix.
That I don't even know where to begin, except that you were interviewed on another podcast that I was listening to, and it was so impressive that I was like,
blush. I don't know.
well,
I don't know.
but people are going to be like blown away by this. And I went to look for a picture of you just to see what you look like, right? Because it was an audio podcast.
Yeah.
And then you were wearing this Amrita shirt. And I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, I bet he knows Arshad.
Yeah.
And so then I emailed Arshad, who owns Amrita, and he said, "Oh yeah, I know Olaf. Olaf's a great guy, man. You should get in touch with him." And
that's awesome.
And I thought, how has Arshad not told me about you before? Because this is pretty cool. So how you doing? What?
Good. I'm in my lab right now because I do research. So
Yeah. I want to ask you about that.
yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's real, right? You really are a researcher.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much.
All right. Let me see. You are. I think we'll start off. Well, we'll start off with the races. You've done.
Yep.
You won a quintuple Ironman after only doing. I don't know if it's only, but after doing 2 half Ironmans, then
that's true actually.
Yeah. Okay. So then you didn't go do an Ironman after that. You went and signed up for a quintuple, which is a 5 Ironmans in a row, and I want to ask you a lot about that. And then you did you've done the Spartan Death race,
few times. Yeah.
Is the most insane race I've ever heard of, and you won it at least twice. Did you win it a third time?
Yeah, I kind of split a win with a guy named Joshua for one of the winners, and
Okay, so then you got a whole bunch of other things that we want to cover, but let's go ahead and cover the quintuple Ironman. So when and where was that?
It was so that's a year and a half ago. I guess it was in October. So that's 2000. I mean, it's a new year, 2013.
Okay.
In October.
Yeah. And where?
It was in Virginia, it's called Lake Anna State Park, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's really nice, super nice little park. Waters, the lake's really nice because it's kind of tempered water.
Yeah.
Steve Kirby is the guy who does those races. They're called Anvil now, and they're great races. It's a lot of fun.
How do they set that up? Is it, do you do all the swim at once, or can you do however much you want, or what do you do?
Yeah. So traditionally, like in ultra triathlon, there are kind of 2 ways of doing it. Sometimes they do it that you do like 1 Ironman a day, basically, and then you have time off the next day you start a new Ironman. But this is what we call like a continuous, which means that you do all the swim, you do all the bike, and you do all of the run. And I kind of prefer that way. It becomes a bit of a challenge because obviously like the swim becomes pretty long.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
So you do the entire swim.
Yeah. So it was
5 Ironmans. Yeah.
It's a 12-mile swim. It's laps, so about 30 laps around buoys in the lake.
About how long does that take?
Well, the thing is, like, I'm not the best swimmer.
Right.
I'm decent, but I'm not a natural swimmer. I've always been a runner, and so
I
kind of learned how to swim. But so it took me, like, I believe it was 8.5 hours.
Holy
I think
cow.
it was 8.5 hours. A friend of mine that was in there in the race too, Andy. I think his was like 6 hours or 5.5. But he's a swim coach, so.
Oh yeah, okay. So then you have to have a support crew handing you fuel, or do you just come on shore and get fuel?
Yeah. Then they put out like a little. I think they put like a little floaty there or something where you could like put your bottles on. You can also your crew can kind of walk out to like waist deep and like give you bottles and stuff, but. I didn't use that much nutrition during that first swim, really.
But there's not a kayak like support. It's
they did. Some people took a long time, so it started getting dark, and then they broke out some kayakers. Yeah.
Oh,
but
okay.
it's kind of laps, kind of close to the shore, so they can see all people at all times.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's easier, like logistically.
Yeah. Okay. And then this is crazy. I love this, by the way, but it's crazy. Okay. So then you bike 10 Ironman bikes in a row right after the swim. As soon as you get out of the swim,
it's 5 Ironman bikes. So
5. I'm sorry.
So it's so you get out of the swim. I kind of just washed off quick and got my bike clothes on. and then it's a 560-mile bike. And it was kind of it is mind-numbing, like when you think about it. I mean, once you're in it, once you're in the zone and doing it, you don't really think about stuff like that. But
I know.
before and like after, you go like, that was kind of crazy. So it's a 2.5 mile bike out and back on a road.
Yeah.
So you do 112 laps basically.
Of a 2.5 mile out and back.
Yeah. And so the sucky, I mean the hard part was like it rained continuously for 2 days during the entire bike, or 3 days. Yeah. So we were biking in the rain for 2 days, and like the turnarounds are like kind of downhill.
Yeah.
And there's just like a cone on the road. So it's like completely stop your bike every 2.5 miles and turn around a road cone.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
Did they do that on purpose, you think, to make it
No,
harder?
not really. It's just the way the park looks. But
because
every turnaround is like downhill. You have to completely stop your bike downhill and turn around and then start going uphill.
Every year I do a self-supported Ironman. I've done it for 10 years.
And, yeah, it's awesome.
And 1 year on the bike course, I made a turnaround. It was only like 4 times. It wasn't 112 times.
Yeah.
But 4 times there was a turnaround that had I marked it on the side of the road with flagging. But the turnaround happened to be at the bottom of a hill, and one of my friends was so mad. He's like, I got to come to a complete stop and then like go back uphill again.
It's mind-numbing when you do it, because all you can think about is like how much speed you lose.
Yes, okay.
Like,
okay, that's nuts. Yeah. So like that's all through the night. So you have to use bike lights, or did they have the road lit up?
It's like these are the things you kind of plan out before. Actually, bike lights are kind of crucial for several reasons. One is because you want a good light to see where you're going.
Yeah.
But having I have like a really big one that it's just like a big beam. But it's just because it's easier to stay awake if you have more light coming off your bike.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Okay.
Because it becomes a game of staying awake too. Because once you start coming.
Do you get like tunnel vision, like looking at that light beam throughout the night?
You're like in that little world. You just your entire world consists of that like little beam. Okay,
so then what about like at what point do you start getting leg cramps from all this? Never.
I am pretty good while I'm up and running. It also turns into a game of like, I mean, it's hard to go. It's hard to go several days without any sleep, so you're going to have to go down at some point.
Yeah.
And then the worst is when you're getting back up again. That's when you get the cramps.
Oh, yeah, that's right. So you stopped and took how many naps, do you think? Do you remember?
I spread out. Most naps were probably pretty short, 10 to 15 minutes, but I probably at some point probably did an hour, half an hour. I think my total, I finished in 95 hours something, so it's just under 4 days. I think my total sleep was about 5 hours.
Yeah. So one time I interviewed William Seichel, who's this guy from Scotland, who is a champion long-distance runner, and they run on a track for like 5-6 days at a time.
Yeah.
You know, like a quarter-mile track.
Yeah, no, I have friends doing that too.
Yeah, you learn, you just sleep when you need to, and then get back up as soon as you can, as soon as you feel good.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, this is a mix of it. It's fine when you're running, but you don't want to fall asleep on a bike.
No.
Because that hurts.
Yeah, that reminds me of Ram, where they're trying to ride as far as they can.
Ram is crazy too. Those guys are staying up for long.
Yeah. Okay. So then you finally get off the bike after, what do you say, like...
I think my bike was 45 hours. Yeah.
Okay, so... And then, golly. And then you start running. And how are you feeling, like, when you start running like that? Do you feel okay?
I mean, you're kind of psyched that you got to the run.
Yeah.
The bike is long. When you get to the run, it's like, yep.
Okay, so 5 marathons, right? And
yep.
And what was the marathon?
That's an out and back too. It's a mile out. It's kind of not quite the same course. You're going kind of over a little bit of a hill. You're going over a hill for a mile, and then you turn around and come back. It's like 65 laps.
Okay.
131 miles. Yeah.
We're doing for the Iron Baby. That's what we call the race because we raise money for kids.
Oh, that's awesome.
This year we're going to do an Ultraman. And I felt kind of bad about maybe possibly having a slightly looped course, but now I don't feel bad at all.
No, don't. I mean, the thing is, like, when you're doing something like that, I mean, logistically, you have to do laps because you need like they need to check in on you so that you're fine.
Yeah.
And that you have your crew and stuff. It just doesn't really work very well if you're not gonna do laps.
The logistics. I was listening to an interview with some people behind Ultraman, and they were saying Ultraman, the reason they have to cap it, is all the support crews out on the road following the cyclists. If you have like 300 people all being followed by cars, you end up somebody's going to get hit.
Yeah, it's going to get crazy. You can't do that.
Okay, so cool. And then, people don't have to come with as many family and friends and rent cars and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So then, how much you won? Did you think you would? Did you have any idea that you would win, or
no? I mean, I think we were 9 or 10 people that started. So it's like it's a pretty intimate affair. I mean, to be honest, I didn't really think much about like winning or not winning.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I haven't done a lot of that kind of stuff, and then I know the people. It was just kind of fun, intimate race.
Yeah. And
the guy who was second, Andy. I mean, we were kind of at the run. We actually started racing pretty hard and almost crashed for a while.
Yeah.
But I mean, I know him really well. I know him super well. So it was fun that we were doing that.
I have a friend that got third at a triple Ironman. And I was like, wow, that's so cool. And he said, well, there was like 4 people in it.
It's like, it's not a lot of people. Not a lot of people are doing this.
Okay. So what do you think running, like while you were running, let's say, not counting the sleep or anything, you're just at a time where you're feeling okay and you're just jogging along, what minute mile pace do you think you were running?
Ooh, we had major like variations.
Yeah.
Because I think I was going pretty slow. Like, there's an uphill there, so you're kind of walking the uphill, and otherwise you could be doing probably going 9-10 minute miles.
Yeah.
But at the point when we started racing in the middle, after 70 miles, I think we had like a 10 miles where we were going like 6-7 minute miles just because we were like racing against each other.
So what led to that?
It was weird. We were like super loopy, and it got really weird.
Did you just drink a Red Bull or something like that?
No, I can't. I mean, after that. I mean, there's a lot of hilarious photos when we like crash, and like there's like these videos when we're like arguing with each other out in the course just because we're so loopy. We have no clue. Yeah. You start like I was falling asleep a couple of times and while running and like falling over and
So that's a small race, right?
Yeah.
But then you turned around and you did Spartan Death race, and so people are probably familiar with the Spartan races, and like kind of mud runs and obstacle course runs and stuff. But this one takes the cake. It's the king of them all, because I heard in this race it's not over until a certain percentage of people quit, right?
I don't know if that's true or not. It might be true, but you don't know. Right.
You don't know when it's going to end.
No, and it's not like you can say like, oh, there's this many people left, so now it's going to finish. I don't know. They push it. I'm not really sure what the criteria are for when it's going to be over. You just don't know. That's kind of part of the game. Part of the game is not, because even if you're doing a quintuple, I mean, you know when it's going to end.
Right.
I mean, you know the distance you're going to do, and then it's over.
Right.
But that's the mentally really hard part for a lot of people to deal with, is if you absolutely have no clue of when it's going to be over. Right. It's really hard to continue.
Right. And there's a winter and a summer version, and I heard I don't know, maybe
there's more now actually. I didn't do any last year, but there's more now. They got some more versions.
Yeah, because you told me offline that you kind of took last year off after doing all this other stuff.
I had 2 crazy years.
Yeah.
I also did. There's also another event that I do. I love these events called Go Rucks.
Oh yeah, one of my friends does that.
And I did 2 Go Ruck selections too, which is their kind of 48-hour event. It has like a pass rate of, I think it's well below 5%. I think it's like 3 or 4% of people that go through that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So it's also like a 48-hour beatdown.
The Spartan Death race.
Yeah.
The race director is like the owner of the Spartan company, pretty much, from what I understand.
It started with them. two founders, Joe DeSena and Andy
Yeah.
Weinberg.
Yeah.
And the guy I was talking about, the guy second at the Quintuple, that's Andy Weinberg. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, there's a
So
connection.
yeah, nice psycho group of friends. I think my wife is glad I don't live near you guys.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah, no. If I lived in your building, I think I'd be I'd be a little worn out by now. So the Spartan race is something like the ones that I heard about is like on the guy's farm building a stone staircase up the side of a mountain.
Yeah, we did that one year. Yep.
Okay, was that the summer or the winter?
That was the summer.
Okay, and then the winter one I heard like had you like at least waist deep in Vermont River frozen.
Yeah. That last winter death race I did was brutal. Like we spent hours in the river there. I mean, it's like it's January in Vermont. I mean, we're talking like -10, -20, and we're like standing in a river.
So why are you in the river? What's going on?
Well,
what do you have to do?
the thing was a bridge broke there during the flooding that was up there. I think it was was it Irene or sorry.
Oh yeah, a few years ago.
So there was like this like it was probably like I don't know, it must have been like 2,000-3,000 pound I-beam that was at the bottom of the river, and we needed to get the I-beam out of the river.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And it was like covered in silt.
Sure, why
so we
not?
had to be in
Y'all
there
need
like
to do
digging
that.
and getting it out of there. It took us I'm sure like 5-6 hours.
Yeah.
A lot of people dropped at that point. They just got hypothermic and like people. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have.
Serious people that dropped at that point. I mean, it was horrible. I'd say straight up, it was really bad.
So, which leads me to the next point, is you might be a little adapted to the cold because one, you come from my favorite place ever, which is Sweden, and then
love to hear it.
And then two, you used to be an alpine, and maybe you still do some of this, but an alpine mountaineering guide, or what's the job title exactly?
No. I was not a guide. So in Sweden, well, back in the day in Sweden, when I was like 18, 19, the military service was still mandatory.
Right.
Sort of, I was supposed to do it. And I ended up doing it as an Arctic Ranger.
Mm-hmm.
So I spent 2 years above the polar circle in Sweden, and I got some great winter survival training. Like you can't pay for that.
Yeah.
Money really, really good. And then after that, I got into sort of alpine climbing and mountaineering.
Yeah.
And I spent a few years when I was studying going all summer. So I spent 5 summers in Chamonix climbing. I went to 3 months in Bolivia, China, Pakistan, stuff like that.
Yeah,
so I was never a guide, but
Yeah.
I was pretty fanatical for a little while there
Sure.
about climbing mountains.
So
I still climbed a lot. But.
If I'm in Vermont in the winter, we've got a contest of who can stay warm and who can lift something up the side of this mountain or get something out of the river. And then I find out that the guy next to me was in the Swedish military, was an Arctic Ranger for 2 years above the Arctic Circle. I'd probably just quit right then too. I'd say, okay, I'm done.
No, he could have some other weaknesses.
Yeah,
That's
your mindset.
No,
Yeah.
I've seen some of the strongest people I know.
Yeah.
'Cause if we're talking the death race,
Yeah.
and like, the death race isn't just physical and mental; it's actually emotional. Like,
Yeah.
they'll tell you could be told that you cheat, even though you didn't cheat.
Yeah, just to see what happens.
And you get punished, and some people will just walk right out.
Yeah.
Can't take it.
Yeah.
Because it just
You question their honor or something like that.
Yeah. And some people just can't take that. That's just too much, and they just quit and walk right out.
Yeah.
And most people I see quit actually like 5 minutes after they quit, they go like, why did I quit?
Yeah. They got them. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I went to military school, Marine Corps military school, and
Cool.
was in a Navy Marine unit in college. And that's the first thing they do to you is they start messing with you mentally.
Yep.
And you can tell who can't take it like instantly.
Yeah, you can tell pretty quick.
Yeah,
pretty
the
quick.
first thing they do is say something about your mother, and then the kid that flips out and goes, "What?" They're like, that kid's not going to make it. And then there'll be people just stone-faced, and they're like, all right, this guy looks tough. Like, he's going to be all right. Yeah. So, you came over from Sweden at what age to America?
5 years ago.
Just 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Okay, so this goes along with my theory that people from Scandinavia and lots of Europe speak better English than people from the United States.
I
How does
guess
that happen?
I guess yes and no. I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, yeah, I tell everyone that. I mean, if you go to Sweden,
Yeah.
everyone there speaks English. There's not a problem. I think one of the issues is that if you look at other parts of Europe, like France and Italy, their English is not particularly good. But
True.
for example, they dub all their movies.
Uh-huh.
So they put on a French or an Italian voice on all the American movies or whatever shows.
Right.
But we don't in Northern Europe. So we
Okay.
subtitle it, but we never dub it.
Oh, so you hear how we talk, and then you pick it up.
So you hear the pronunciation and you see the Swedish text, for example.
Right.
I think that's a big part. The other thing is, I mean, I traveled a lot, and because I work in science, when I was in my department in Sweden, half my department weren't Swedish.
Right.
So English was an everyday thing for
Right.
many years before I even moved to the U.S.
Cool. Yeah, my great-grandfather came over 1930, 1920 or something like that to get his PhD in psychology over here at University of Chicago.
Really? That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So,
Do you know any people, like, do you have any connections in Sweden? Do you know any, like, distant relatives or anything?
when I was about 20 years ago, my grandmother went over and visited a bunch of our relatives over there.
Yeah.
But I haven't kept in touch with any of them or anything like that. Yeah. I just read the other day that if I buy a Volvo, that you get an airline ticket to go over to Sweden and drive it over to Sweden.
I have a lot of American friends talking about that too, actually.
Yeah.
Actually, because you can go northern Sweden actually has all these test facilities for winter car driving.
Yeah.
So sometimes a lot of the commercials you see when they're driving in the winter,
yeah,
a lot of that's shot in northern Sweden.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I've had 2 Volvos myself, maybe 3.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, they're awesome cars.
You're a great guy.
Oh. Cool. All right. So next on the list, you are a scientist, and do you have a PhD in microbiology or what?
Molecular biology?
Biology.
Actually, my undergrad was in molecular biology. My PhD is in molecular physiology.
Okay.
I was working in sort of diabetes research, and now I'm more in genetics, like molecular genetics. I work in obesity research. So
cool. Okay.
Yeah.
On the my wife is a type 1 diabetic.
Oh.
And she didn't develop it until she was 22. And really bizarre, just seemed like out of nowhere. We think it was probably from stress.
Yeah. My mom was a type 1, but she got it about in her 30s.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not uncommon.
I know. Around we used to call it juvenile diabetes because it seemed to pop up then, but that was a really bizarre thing. And then I saw in Australia they have the first totally artificial pancreas working on a kid that senses the blood sugar and responds appropriately to the blood sugar. So that was pretty cool.
It is really cool. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. It's pretty exciting.
What did you learn? Did you learn anything about, you were saying earlier about lipids and fats and stuff. Did you learn anything from your earlier research that you can apply to sports nutrition at all?
I wouldn't think so. I work on a very molecular level, trying to understand certain mechanisms, and I mean, it's so much more complex what you want for your nutrition.
Yeah.
What I do have because I'm a scientist, I'm very used to reading a lot of scientific papers.
Yeah.
Critically, being able to criticize them and read them and get a larger understanding of what's the consensus. So I do read a lot about nutrition and stuff for sports.
Right.
And I believe that I have like a fairly good ability to understand where the consensus is, what's working or not, because
Yeah. So what is the consensus right now with how much, like, I had a question the other day that I wasn't able to get a straight answer on from a lot of people. Eating fat while exercising, if it's actually usable by the body, or if it's pretty much just carbs and protein per se.
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah.
And to be honest, purely like scientifically, I don't think there's a good answer to that. I think it's gonna, on a purely like personal sort of, if I'm just theorizing about it, I think it's different for different people.
Yeah.
It's very personal what works for you when you're racing.
Yeah.
I think. I know, especially when I start doing the longer things, I'm just like, I'm back on regular food.
Right.
Like the fast carbs and all that, it's just I stopped doing that.
Yeah.
And I switch. But that has like, for me, that's like connected to, I mean, if you're doing a long race, it's also about your stomach being able to function the whole thing, and
Yeah.
So.
Well, also like the longer the race, the slower you're going, so you're able to actually digest real food. Anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a personal thing that you're gonna have to figure out if we're talking about race nutrition.
Yeah.
And we talked about Amrita, which is like one of my absolute favorite companies for many reasons.
Yeah.
But for example, those bars I know work very well for me because they are just. I've tried a lot of plant-based bars, but they're very easily digestible.
That's true.
I
definitely
can just smack down a whole bar and not like really worry about it.
Yeah, it's really weird, isn't it? Like you can eat a third of a bar at a time, like I do, and I don't even feel it at all. Like it just goes right through. Yeah. It's awesome. Yeah. I think it's the spices and stuff that he uses in there that soothes the stomach, like cardamom or something.
Yeah, and it's also like how they come moist. A lot of plant-based bars are very dry.
Yeah.
And these are kind of moist, so they just, I don't know, they're easier to take down, especially while racing.
You ever do like a dry bar while you're on the bike, and then you end up with a back of your throat full of dust?
No, it's like like eating like a stack of crackers.
Yeah, you're like,
you don't do that.
Stupid. Why did I just do that?
Yeah.
Okay, I've done that a million times, and I'm just like, God dang it.
Yeah, I've done it too. Because you got to do it, experience it, and go like, okay, I'm not doing that again.
Yeah, and then I'll go a few months and then forget. Like, yeah. Okay, so what are you working on? Well, you're in your lab right now, which this is so cool that it's your background. And so I got a question about your like lifestyle and training and work and stuff like that. I have a theory that you probably climb a lot of stairs, and that helps a lot. Do you take the stairs as much as you can?
I do. I try to do that. When I work in my lab bench in the lab during the days, it's actually not a lot sitting down.
Yeah.
If I'm at my computer, of course, I'm sitting down working, but it's a lot of running around and walking and standing at my lab bench and stuff. So I think that's quite nice. I try not to sit down too much.
Are you literally like mixing test tubes and stuff like
that?
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I do animal genetics. I mean, I would have a fair amount of mice that I'm working with.
Yeah.
No, like, dude, I'm standing at a bench mixing stuff and pipetting. That's what I do all day long.
Oh yeah, cool, man. Cool. Yeah. So, you make your own hours because you do your own research, or how do you find? Are you like a what do they call it? Not a sponsored scientist. What is it? You got contract work to do. You got projects, funding. Do you got grants that you're?
Yeah. So it's not my personal grants. My boss is my professor. It's his grants, of course, and I work on the project.
Right.
Where was I? I just lost
the thread
completely. I just lost the thread completely.
Oh no, the what do you do for work exactly? Like you following the grants, right? And then,
So, and I have a certain project, certain scientific questions that I'm trying to answer that I'm working on.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's basically what I've been doing here for 5 years.
Yeah.
It's 5 years now. Yeah. Man, time flies.
Yeah. Are you gonna keep?
So
you think you're gonna keep doing this for a long time? Same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I won't be in this particular spot forever.
Yeah.
Probably need to figure out to move on and maybe go somewhere else.
Yeah.
It's just a career thing for a scientist. You need to move on a bit.
Yeah.
And I definitely, I mean, I love New York City,
but
I mean, it's time for me to go somewhere where there's mountains.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm probably gonna need to get out of here. As far as training and stuff, I mean, I guess one of the perks of being an academic scientist is that most of the time that I have, I plan myself.
Right.
I try to keep somewhat regular hours in the lab just because it works better with your normal life.
Right.
But I'm I'm pretty flexible.
Yeah.
Which of course helps a lot.
Yeah.
Another key thing is I live about 2 blocks away from work.
Mm-hmm.
So my commute is about 3 minutes every day. So that's a lot of time saved right there. Yeah.
So your work is project based, right? So as long as you're making progress on your project, then you can kind of work and play whenever you feel.
Yeah, definitely. So it's like that. I mean, and I tend to, because I can plan my time so perfectly, I can really fit in a lot. I could fit in a lot of work and a lot of training.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And with science also, it tends to be like pretty intense sometimes. So sometimes I'll focus more on that, and then sometimes it's more calm.
Yeah. I work in the computer industry in IT, but so I had to back off of training a little bit because we were doing a whole bunch of servers being upgraded and things like that, and it just makes you tired, like mentally just tired, and you can't really train while you're doing that kind of stuff. But then we'll have long periods of just maintaining stuff, and then you can kind of turn your brain off.
Yeah, it's just easier. Yeah,
and go
do
it's
like that.
Big training and stuff.
I think it's like that for everyone in their lives.
I think once you learn how to leverage that, I think people get worn out when they get all into triathlon or endurance sports, and then it's probably while they're not having that much to do at work or in their life, they get all into it, and then they try to sustain it while all of a sudden work picks up or they have a kid or something like that, and they try to sustain it, and then they just crash and burn.
No, it's fine to have. That's how I felt. Like I went crazy there for a couple of years when it came to races and stuff. I was doing so much, and it was all back to back. It was just very little rest in between. But I really felt last year it was just time to just take a year off from that. I mean, I still did a lot of races, but nothing really big.
Yeah.
Really big. So I'm just kind of getting back into it this year. Got some races lined up, and then I might have. Well, we talked about the quintuple.
Yeah.
And well, it looks like right now that there will probably be a continuous DECA in the beginning of in May 2016. So that'll be the 10X Ironman.
And I heard there was a 20 or something like that in Italy recently. Did you hear about that?
Yeah, but that was probably a non-continuous.
Uh-huh.
I think those were in the non-continuous ones.
Yeah.
As far as I think the longest continuous I know is DECA. I think that has been done before, but I mean, it's a little bit scary when I think about it, and that's why I really like it.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, what attracts you to doing this kind of stuff? To getting into the zone and just seeing how maintaining while on the rivet, on the verge.
But it just intrigues me to try to figure out what your limits are, I guess. And then what motivates me is really when I don't know if I'm going to make it. Yeah. A lot of times, I mean, of course I do races where I try to go fast and stuff. I run a few marathons and stuff like that. But what really motivates me when I'm signed up for something where I'm at the point where I sign up, I am not 100% sure that I will be able to make it.
Exactly.
That motivates me.
Yeah.
And also when I'm not sure what it's going to be like. I mean, I guess that's what attracted me to mountaineering and alpine climbing, because a lot of times you don't know a lot about where you're going,
right?
Or how it's going to be, or how it's going to turn out. And I just love that adventure. I love the adventure of it.
Yeah. Well, with mountaineering, a change in the weather can mean just a 180-degree turn. And
you
how
think
things
you plan it all out, you get off route, or something happens, and it's just with mountaineering, it's it's not over until you're home in your bed again. I mean, it's getting to the top of the mountain is just it's probably less than halfway sometimes. You gotta get back down and out of there too.
So spending that much time on your bike, what do you what kind of saddle do you have, and what kind of shorts do you wear to keep from the seat post just going up through your body? Actually,
I believe that what you really need to be is very well fit on your bike.
Yeah.
Because if you're well fit on your bike, the pressure that you will have sitting on the saddle will be less.
Right.
I mean, if you're ill-fitted on your bike, you might be sitting very hard on your saddle, and that could be a bad thing.
Yeah.
I use I think I have a Specialized saddle now, the one that's kind of split in the middle.
Okay.
On my tri-bike, I'm using one of those podium saddles too. That they work pretty well for me. Where they kind of have a hole in the middle.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Are you talking about the Sotero or a different one? There's one called a Sotero.
I'm not. I think I have the Specialized. I don't know. I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I think most of those saddles a lot of them that are coming out now that has like the hole in the middle or the split kind of relief pressure.
Yeah.
They work very well for me at least.
Yeah, me too.
But it's also really, when you bike that far, you got to make sure you get out of the saddle.
Yeah.
You're kind of on a schedule.
I do the same thing. Either every 5 minutes or 10 minutes, I sit up, or not just sit up.
That's essentially
I
what
stand.
you do.
Yeah.
That's essentially what you do.
Yeah, it makes all the difference in the world. Yeah.
A lot of it when I came out after, I was more like I'm sure the Ram people must have all these kinds of issues, but you're just gripping your handlebar too much.
Oh yeah.
A couple of my fingers went numb for a few weeks after that because you're like holding so much.
Yeah.
I guess it was also because it was pretty cold when we were doing it. It was raining.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for your long runs, and like runs like that, do you run with a water bottle in your hand, or how do you carry fuel for your long workouts on the run?
Yeah, I like handhelds.
Yeah.
If I do longer trail runs and stuff like that, I'll bring like a running pack.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a backpack, but usually if I want to bring some water, I like handhelds now.
Yeah. So
I'd bring that. And I kind of, if I do a really long run, I'll plan it out so that I'm running past a shop or something halfway.
Yeah.
Or, I'm also in New York City, so.
So what's a long run for you right now? What do you consider to be kind of long?
I actually I've actually been more biking lately than I've been running.
Yeah.
I don't know. It kind of goes in waves, but I have this period now when I've been biking a lot. I just like biking a lot now. So I'm kind of ramping up my running now again.
Mm-hmm.
So right now a long run for me would probably be like 15, 20 miles.
Yeah.
If I want to do a long run on the weekend. So it's nothing over the top, but
yeah.
I really actually felt that my biking has helped my running a lot.
Yeah? How?
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like I'm a stronger runner after biking a lot.
Huh.
And I hear a lot of people say that, biking helps your running, but running doesn't help your biking. I think it depends a little bit on what you are before, but I feel like a lot of biking has kind of made my legs stronger.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I ran New York Marathon now in November, and I didn't actually run. I ran very little before that. I didn't train for it at all as far as running. I was kind of maintaining on like maybe 15, 20 miles a few weeks before.
Yeah.
But I was biking a lot.
Right.
And when I ran it, I felt very good.
I think biking, definitely helps you running uphill because you've really worked your leg muscles a lot. Yeah. And it's the uphill running that slows you down on the run. So, I could totally see that.
Yeah.
Cool. So, what do you have coming up next?
So I'm sort of ramping up what I'm going to do this year. I deliberately didn't book too much to just fill up my schedule because I have a tendency to like not being able to say no to things.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing things back to back anyways. But so I just only had a couple of really things that I've really planned, which is doing a half Ironman in Raleigh, North Carolina. My girlfriend did the Mont Tremblant Ironman this last year. Yeah. So we're both doing it this year in August. And I think I will be doing some ultra events in the fall.
Okay.
But I kind of really want to train through this spring and just focus on the training instead. Yeah. And then I'm hoping I'm going to do a few ultra events this fall, maybe one or 200 milers.
Ultra marathons.
Yeah. Cool. And but I think my key event now that everything's gonna ramp up is doing that continuous deca in May.
Yeah.
And
Wait, May of 2015 or 2016?
16.
Okay. Well, you're invited to come do the Ultraman with us.
But when are you doing it?
It's in October.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
We've got a female pro that's going to come do it. Let's see if you can.
Oh, really?
Take her on.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
But actually, you know what? We'll keep in touch about it. I don't know.
Definitely,
man.
Cool. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
And let me see. I got just to wrap it up, just a couple more questions for you. How do you know that you're going too fast and to back off in a race? What signs does your body tell you that you're probably going too hard?
That's a hard question because it depends on what kind of race you're doing. You know,
okay. Let's say
5K or an ultra. You know,
let's say a half Ironman up to an Ironman, because that's what most people listening to this probably.
A half Ironman to an Ironman.
Yeah.
I really just decide beforehand what my pace is.
Oh yeah.
I train.
Yeah.
I train, and you train, you calculate, and you look at it. Because a half Ironman and Ironman to me is still like a race. You know,
yeah.
This is for me. I'm racing it, so I want to know what my somewhat pace will be.
Mm-hmm.
But come game day, I might feel stronger or not as good.
Yeah.
So I'm always ready to adapt my pace to it.
Okay.
But when I'm doing it, I kind of like really want to have a goal. I have a goal for what I want to do, and when I'm doing that, I think it could be good for people to do that.
Yeah.
To have an understanding of what they kind of want to go, what pace they want to go, but also not like be ready to alter it just in the moment, to change it in the moment if it's not feeling so good.
And then last question is, how can you tell that you need to eat more or drink more? What signs does your body tell you?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's so hard. It's experience. Actually, the last thing, and then it's experience.
Yeah.
Because that can be really hard, because the problem is when you feel that you've done something wrong, you don't have enough salts, you're dehydrated, or you're not good enough with nutrition, it's too late.
Yeah.
Technically.
Yeah.
You're already crashing if you're feeling it. So, especially people doing half Ironmans and Ironmans, I think most coaches will tell you that too. It's like, I'm not always very good at this. I'm kind of wing it, but you should have a nutrition plan if you want to do it good. That is the good thing about having a nutrition plan, is that you say you're going to eat this much every hour, and you just do that.
Yeah.
Even if you feel like doing it or not, just take it in.
Right.
As long as you're not feeling nauseous and your stomach can handle it, because that way you're kind of protecting yourself from ending up in a situation you feel like, oh my God, I feel like I'm dehydrated, I didn't drink enough.
Uh-huh.
And it's hard during a race. It's hard to kind of come back from that.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's gonna take a while.
Yeah. Cool.
So try to figure that out beforehand. I mean, I'm kind of weird with that. People who know me know this. Is like I eat the weirdest stuff sometimes when I'm out, like on a race.
Yeah, like what?
During the quintuple race, I downed all the kinds. I probably did most of my ramen on like mac and cheese. I was constantly running with like a cup of mac and cheese in my hand.
I could see that, yeah, because it tastes
awesome.
Good, and it's really high calorie and easy to digest too at the same time. I think. Yeah.
So I mean, and I try. We talked a lot about nutrition outside of the racing, and I'll be kind of continuously moving towards more of a. I try to stay away from processed foods, and I really try to have 2 or 3 days that are vegetarian every week.
Yeah.
It doesn't always end up that way, but it's kind of what I strive for. So, yeah.
Cool, dude. I do a lot of meals vegetarian on purpose.
Yeah.
But so I wouldn't do my thing. I don't do days vegetarian, but I'll be like, no meat this meal. You know.
Yeah.
And that's what kind of works for me. So.
Actually, it's funny, but especially when I'm running a lot. Because I find it hard to eat something heavy like eat a piece of steak and go out and like run. It's just it's just hard.
Yeah, I didn't think it was going to
So-
bother me, but I had scrambled egg, just a little bit of scrambled eggs and a piece of sausage this morning,
Yeah.
along with like some cereal and stuff, and went running, and then it bothered my stomach like really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's, I guess that's one of the reasons, like especially when I'm running a lot, I just try to eat lighter foods, like more vegetarian.
Yeah, it definitely works better.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for being on the show.
Cool.
And how do people
Thank you for having me.
how do people get in touch with you if they want to follow what you're doing this year?
Yeah.
Do you have a blog or something?
I kind of started a blog, but it's just I'm just not terribly good at keeping up at writing blogs.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of thinking about getting back into that again. Otherwise, it's like I'm on Twitter, just my name at Olof Dallner, and I'm kind of trying to get better at Twitter and Facebook. I add most people that add me, so
Okay.
most of my races and stuff end up getting updated on there. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'm good at the Twitter, but not
Strava
Facebook.
too, actually. I'm on Strava too. if you want to
Oh,
follow someone
really?
too.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
I was out of it last year, but I'm starting it up now, and now I'm gonna throw it all on Strava now if people want to see what I'm doing.
Yeah, I do the automatic upload from Garmin to
Yeah,
Strava.
yeah,
And that way it takes care of it. It's all done.
yeah.
So I love it. And then I get emails from people, your comments and thumbs up and stuff like that.
Kudos.
So, yeah, kudos. Yeah. It's cool, man.
Awesome. It's awesome.
Well, I'll be in
All
touch.
right, let's be in touch, and I'll hear more about that. Your guys' Ultraman. I might come out for that.
Yeah, the swim will be in a nice, happy lake that's easy to swim in, and it's across and back is 2.4 miles exactly,
Cool.
And then the bike ride will be from that lake kind of over to my house, which is about 20 miles, and then just loops after that.
Yeah.
And Texas countryside, it's just rolling prairie and woods and cattle ranches and stuff. It's pretty neat.
Sounds pretty awesome.
And then the run, we've always done a 3-mile loop that goes through my subdivision, and it actually passes the time pretty good because it's a mix of houses, a little bit of street, and a wooded sidewalk.
Yeah.
With a couple of real gentle hill. Well, they don't seem gentle at the end.
No, they grow. When I told you that quintuple going over that hill,
Yeah.
it was like pretty. It looks not very big in the beginning. It was like Everest in the end. It
Yeah, I
just
know.
kept
It's
growing
crazy, isn't
every
it?
lap. You're like, oh.
Yeah. There's this ultra marathon I do every year, and there's some little wooden bridges on the trail, and you do loops. You do it depends on how far you're going, like either 3 or 5 loops. But by lap 3, those things are horrible to try to get over. You're like walking sideways because you can't lift your legs up anymore, so you're walking sideways up them. And then
We like to do these things.
Yeah, well,
it's like excites us. Like
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Yeah, how fast can you go at the limit of your pain? That guy I interviewed, William Seichel, said the pain gets to be about a 7 out of 10, and then it doesn't get much worse than that.
Nah.
And then once you know that, then you can kind of keep it at that 7 out of 10. If it starts to climb up to 8 or 9, you're going too hard.
Yeah.
And cool. All right, man. Well, thanks for being on, and let's be in touch.
Yeah, let's stay in touch. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, cool.
All
Talk
right.
to you later.
Have a good one.
You
Bye-bye.
too. Bye. All right, we are back. Thank you, Olaf, for the awesome interview. We talked a little bit after the recording and decided that we could probably be really good friends. I want to hang out with him and do awesome stuff. Really inspirational guy. And just so cool that he does all that amazing stuff and then also holds down a day job. And but you got to remember, it's there's a famous saying, you're really, what you see on the internet is you're really seeing somebody's highlight reel. You can only be so awesome for so long, and you need to take a break. And that's what he said he was doing. He didn't do much stuff in the past year because he was taking a break from all that stuff. It wears you out, So you got to take a break, and it's okay to slow down and recoup a little bit and then build back up to something cool again. Speaking of something cool, I got the Rocky Raccoon this weekend. just in a few days, actually. I'm really excited about it. But before we talk more about that, let's talk about a little bit of endurance sports news. The two biggest things that I've seen lately is the Lac Gulac on September 26th of this year, 2015. It's a swim run, alternating swim run in the Scottish Highlands, and the final swim, it looks like, goes across Loch Ness, the Loch Ness monster, Nessie. And let's see, it's 12 runs with a total distance, 12 different runs, with 40 miles of running, 63.5K, and 13 swims that totals up to 8.5K, which would be 5.3 miles. And yeah, they're interspersed in between each other. And I've done this at the SOS Triathlon, and it's awesome. It is so cool. You swim with your shoes tucked into the back of your swimsuit. This will be so cold, you'll probably wear a wetsuit. So basically you run with your wetsuit on or something like that. And people love it. It is so much fun. There's no bike to mess with, so it's actually the gear and the traveling to go do it is actually a lot more simple than doing a triathlon, so it's pretty neat. The longest swim section is 2K across the 230 meter deep and very dark Loch Ness. That is really cool. Again, that's the Loch, and you spell that L-O-C-H, Lac Gulac. Goo as in the goo gels, G-U. September 26, 2015. And then also a really cool thing that's going to happen is Ironman, WTC brand, is stating that they're going to do live pro tracking at Kona, and also the full Ironman distance regional championships, and also at the half Ironman championships only. So this is probably a website, they haven't really revealed it yet, a website where you can watch the pros race and maybe a little bit of their biometric stuff like watts and heart rate would be pretty cool. Pros can opt in to show biometric data. And actually, this goes along with my Garmin 920 watch, which will, if I'm wearing my phone on me, will transmit this stuff on a map already, which I plan on wearing for some races, including the Rocky Raccoon this weekend. I'm going to try to go run all 50 miles of that thing while transmitting live my biometric data. I hope I don't bonk or crash. You crash during trail runs, so you lose your footing and go into the bushes, kind of like a bike wreck. But anyway, xtri.com has a little write-up on it, but it's pretty reasonable news. It's the race provider doing it now, but I could see easily in a couple years or more everybody doing it, and a third-party company putting together tracking, and everybody can dump their tracking in on this web page so that people can watch. It'd be pretty neat. Okay, so that's the biggest triathlon news going on around here. There's plenty of other triathlon news out there that you can go find, and I encourage that you do. And let's do some sponsor stuff before we get into reading emails. I have a note here. Amphibian Multisport, those are my buddies, up in Libertyville, Illinois, just a bit north of Chicago, and they are amphibianmultisport.com, and it's a triathlon shop with a endless pool inside and CompuTrainer bikes, and you can join the club. You can drop in and work out all day for just $25. If you're active military or a firefighter or police, then you get the whole month for only $100. It can be your home base, your club. And if you're going to the Chicagoland area, I love how they say that. It's just the greater Houston area. What is New York called? Greater New York area? The New York boroughs, maybe? But anyway, in Chicago, it's Chicagoland. If you're in the Chicagoland area, go check them out. Even if you're just coming through as a visit, don't pack your bike to go on that trip, man. Just go drop in there and check them out. And then tell Spyros behind the counter that you heard about amphibianmultisport.com from ZenTri, man. He's a huge supporter of the show. It's a big deal. Yeah, let's see. You can bring in your own bike and ride on a CompuTrainer. First ride on the CompuTrainer is free. Go check them out. They got a cool website with lots of pictures of what the place looks like. And tell them Brett at ZenTri sent you. All right, and then also I think later in the show I talk about sound probiotics, and in the training log later on. One thing I'm doing is I'm riding along the coast of New Zealand. I am about a tenth of the way down the coastline, the northwest coastline of New Zealand. I've already passed the Wara Wara forest, and I'm in another jungle, it looks like right now. and I'm riding south, and I'm doing it on TrainerView. My goal is to ride all the way around New Zealand, and I'm telling you, having a goal of riding something is pretty cool. And TrainerView is a program that you can find on realtimeathlete.com. Realtimeathlete.com. Sometimes I call it RTA. Realtimeathlete.com. They've upgraded the viewer, and it is really modern looking and super cool. And you can ride anywhere that there's Google Street View. So the stuff where you're like, hey, you can ride this one section of one race, but it's the same thing over and over again, and it's only that one thing because it's a video. Well, on this, what you do is on Google Maps, it's got a Google Maps window. You draw, and it's really easy. Actually, you put the beginning point and the end point, and it connects it along the streets automatically. And then you can add vertices, and make it like kind of go off these side streets or side highways or whatever you want. But anyway, you can create a route as long as you want, anywhere that you want, where there's Google Street View, and it stitches the Street View together into like a really fast, it's a fast slideshow, almost like a video because it is still shots. But then you can speed up or slow down the playback, and then you can ride along. And you can pause it and pan around 360 degrees. You can't do that in a real video. You're like, man, look at that house over there. That is so cool. Or what is that person doing on that building over there, or in that window? And you can pan around. So I was showing it to somebody yesterday, and we set it to go through downtown Paris. We were just cruising around, and then. Sometimes I leave it up at work on my other monitor just to check out a city I've never seen before. It's really, really neat. But anyway, you're riding your bike, following this thing, and it becomes hypnotic. And you just ride along, and you can. Oh, it's got an elevation graph along the bottom, so if you can tell that you're on a hill and you want to work it hard, because that's what's really going on in the real world, then you can work it hard. It's pretty cool. You want to coast a little bit, you can back off, and the pro version will keep your routes that you like. If you save a route, you really, really, really like it, and you want to do it again. Oh man, you can ride the Google Street View you can create a route that's just like, you can create the Alpe d'Huez route, and you're riding along, and all the stuff's written on the street, just like, like when you're watching the Tour de France. I've ridden along the coastline of Norway. I've ridden around Hawaii. And the Google Street View for Hawaii, for Kona, was shot in the few days leading up before Ironman Hawaii. And so there's triathletes all over the place biking. It's really cool, up and down the Queen K. It's really neat. Let's see, where else have I ridden? Oh, I saw on Google Street View, I rode across the Golden Gate Bridge. So cool. I saw on Street View that there's now Google Street View that goes all the way from Western Europe to Eastern Asia. So I think after I do New Zealand, I might ride across the Europe and then Asian continent, all the way from one side to the other. And the cool thing about Google Street View is it's always a bright sunny day. You're riding inside, it's miserable outside, and you're like, wow, it's so pretty wherever I was riding. And every time I get off the trainer, I'm like, Emily, you wouldn't believe where I just rode. I just feel like I've been in New Zealand. This is so cool. And the freedom of picking wherever you want to ride, and that it's live. It's live off of Google Street View, so there's nothing to download or anything like that. It's just reading the Street View pictures off the internet. Anyway, there's a pro version where you can save where you left off. You don't have to make a new route every time, and you can save your routes and a few other things. Keep track of your mileage, and you can get that with a 15% off discount code. No, wait. $10 off, discount code. Oh, wait, half off. Wait, it's something off with discount code ZenTri when you do checkout. I know that they just dropped the price a little bit with the new beta version. It's so much more fun to use. They want to get out for more people to see it. So they dropped the price a little bit. Discount code ZenTri, all caps. Amrita bars, 15% off with discount code ZEN. And let's read a couple of news stories. Oh, and my gluten sponsor, New Republic Beer. Go check them out on Twitter. That's the local brewery here in town. They give me free beer every once in a while. Okay, let's do donations. You can help support ZenTri, keep it on the air, by donating on the left-hand side of the zentriathlon.com website. It's super easy to do. And you can do a one-time donation or a recurring donation. And if you donate to the show, then if you email me with questions or statements, I read them out loud on the show. It's really cool. So Matthew Heinz, longtime donor. Hey, what's up, dude? He's done the parts of the Iron Baby. Jason Drury, Allison Frutos, and Houston Marsh, which is different than a Houston Bayou. Hey, Coach Brett, after listening to you since at least 2009, I figured now would be a good time to thank you for all your hard work. I can't say for sure when I started listening, but I remember countless occasions in 2009, 2010 when I biked nearly 15,000 K up the continent of South America and across Canada, and I would yell out, "I see you, Hill." That's a Zen thing that I used to say on shows. I'll do it again sometime. Or "I hear you, wind." The wind was nuts in South America. 3 hours to go 10 miles on flat roads. Oh my God, dude, that's terrible. Years later, when I was doing a bike tour in Southeast Asia with my fiance, I would yell at the heat, frequently over 120 degrees Fahrenheit with humidity. Yelling to acknowledge obstacles was a nice little trick you talked about on the show. I'm not sure if it works, but it is fun. Well, then it does work. Yeah, okay, so basically what he's saying is there's this Zen thing where people internalize problems and think that the problem is themselves, right? So like you're struggling with what's a typical problem, a non-triathlete problem? Traffic, right? I see you. So you get so frustrated. You're like, man, I just wish I could get through this. It's not you, it's the traffic, right? So one thing to say is to acknowledge the traffic's outside of you is by saying, "I see you, traffic." And it comes from Buddha when Mara, which is kind of like the Buddhist version of the devil, was challenging Buddha. Buddha said, "I see you, Mara." And that means, I see you, I know that you're there, but I am not. And because you're over there, I'm here. That means I can choose not to become part of you, not to get involved, and not to believe that I'm the problem. You're the problem, not me, right? And I'm fine, and I just need to keep doing what I'm doing, and I'll finally get around you. And so I was learning this and talking about it on a very early episode of Zen and the Art Triathlon. And at that time, while I was recording, I was probably running up a hill, and I said, like if you're doing triathlon, like you're out running and it's a steep hill, you can just say, "I see you, hill." Like that. And this saying took off, man. People started doing it, and it really, really works. So wind, hills, bonking, right? Acknowledge them, point them out, and realize that it's not you. And instead of internalizing, you externalize them, and then just keep on going along. And it really does work. It's really weird. So that's what he was saying is, "I see you, wind, and I see you, humidity," while biking across Asia and South America. These days, as I find myself getting busier with more family commitments, work, and now Ironman Canada training, I tend to appreciate your advice on how to successfully manage family life and training. Thank you for being a huge part of the reason I got started in triathlon. P.S. You do not have to read these on the show, but if you're interested, the link to bike tour in South America and Canada is, go to crazyguyonabike.com/doc, like DOC, /vagabonding SA. Okay, so crazyguyonabike.com/doc/vagabondingsa, and the link to the bike tour in Southeast Asia is hojobiking.com, HOJO biking.com. Cool. And I'll put the, I hope I remember, put the links to this on the show page on ZenTriathlon.com. Okay, another donation. Todd Nelson, Brian Kemper, Kathleen. I just got this from her. Hi, Brett. Thanks. I did receive the order for the Hornet Juice, and I just placed a new order. We're going to talk about Hornet Juice in a second. I am down to just a few packets. Hope to see some soon. I use the Hornet Juice to train here in the tundra of northwest Wisconsin. Man, I train hard. My grandparents are from Wisconsin. Great-grandparents? Briefly. I train hardcore strength one day. No, my great-grandparents survived the Sioux Uprising, actually. They were some of the people that ran out into the prairie and hid in the tall grass. While everybody was terrified. Anyway, I train hardcore strength one day a week, doing CrossFit, endurance, and cardio, all within 1 hour, with a few strong women, led by one great guy. We call ourselves G.I. Jane. Great stuff for the off season. Peace to you and your family. Here's to a great race season, working towards a 70.3 in August called Superior Man in Duluth, Minnesota. Athletes get to jump off the Visa fleet. I'm not sure what a Visa fleet is, into the Bay of Lake Superior. Isn't that the biggest lake in North America and maybe the world? Got to check it out. Okay, thank you. Tyler Moyer, Dwayne Morin, Spiros Fetsis. What's up, man? Kerry Honing, which is really, I think, Jeff Honing. Jeff Bernadine. Why did I have trouble saying that? A message from him. Hey, brada! Exclamation point. Thanks for the liquid fuel recipe, and thanks for doing the podcast. I figured I'd buy you a pint to say thanks. Might grab a t-shirt next time. So I am in Houston at NASA. If you ever stop in for surf or the Galveston Half, or just want to bring the family down for a tour, look me up. Yeah, I need to do that, man. Can I bring Kai there, my 10-year-old, and have him freak out over all the cool stuff at NASA? I would love to be able to do that. Todd Endicott sending in a donation. Jessica Woodruff, Dan Macchia, M. Webb, and Neil Thatcher. And hold on, I'm distracted by there was something else there for a second I got to tell you about. Neil Thatcher sent in an email about getting Hornet Juice. Hey, Brett, things are good in the UK. Weather is pretty icy the last few weeks, so I have been hitting the turbo. That's what they call the bike trainer in the UK. They call it the turbo trainer. And getting in some good base miles with my running. It's been great listening to the evolution of the Ultra Baby. And I also that's where I'm going to do a self-supported Ultra, man, this fall. And I also got a Garmin XT, 910 XT. Instead, I couldn't do the 920 due to budget constraints. Yeah, that's an expensive device. Good job, man. Cool, you'll love that. Lots of people love that. Keep up the excellent work. I can't emphasize enough what a great help your podcasts are on long runs and rides. Hey, no problem. Many thanks, Neil Thatcher, son of Margaret Thatcher. Just kidding, I made that last part up. Maybe he is. I don't know. I couldn't tell I couldn't tell his accent from his writing. Okay. The past weekend, let's just talk a little bit about some other stuff. The past weekend, the Rocky Raccoon 100 went down, and Ian Sharman, who's actually been interviewed on this podcast before, won it again, and he ran 100 miles in a low 8-minute mile pace. He did 100 miles at 13 and a half hours. It's like, Jesus. That is so awesome, man. Awesome. It's so cool. All right, let's talk a little bit about Hornet Juice. I was looking up my notes from my last race, which I talk at length about towards the end of the show, probably ad nauseum. But in my notes, that was my best ever long distance performance. I was able to keep my heart rate up and go for 9.5 hours, 9 hours and 37 minutes at a medium pace, nonstop without a break. And I PR'd that race, I've never been able to achieve that performance again. And guess what I ate before and during the early stages of that race to get things rolling? Hornet juice. The stuff freaking works. The best race ever of my life, I drank Hornet juice right before I started and during the first couple hour or so. Okay, so Hornet juice is an amino acid powder. It's easy. One packet lasts an hour and a half, and it tastes, I think it tastes like grapefruit, actually. It tastes a little weird at first, but it's not bad. And once you get used to it, and it's still not bad anyway. And what it does is it's an amino acid blend that signals your body to start burning body fat for fuel. So it adds extra energy available on top of your already available energy. And what it feels like is that you just can't make yourself tired. Like no matter what you do, there's an extra diesel motor going on. It's pretty neat. There's no caffeine or anything like that, so you don't feel jacked up. You just feel like that whatever you're doing, you can just keep going forever and ever and ever and ever. It's really, really neat. And the crazy thing is, the stuff's synthetic. It was made in the lab, modeled after the Japanese killer hornet saliva, the amino acids in their saliva. So the Japanese killer hornet is recognized by science as the heaviest bodied insect that can do the most work without stopping to eat. And so it can fly like really long distances, but it's really heavy. And they're like, how in the world does it do this? And they figured out the answer was in the amino acids that it uses in its saliva to help metabolize its own fat stores. And so they duplicated it in a lab and then started giving it to athletes, and holy crap, it freaking works. It works really well. And you can get it on the ZenTri website you go to zentriathlon.com, and on the right-hand side of the page, there's a link to Hornet Juice, and you can buy it in a 4-pack, 10, like you just want to try it out, right? You see, does this stuff really work? And these are the orders I get. I get 4-pack, and then I get same person a while later gets a 10-pack or maybe even a 20-pack, and then a little while later, 30-pack or 50-pack. And then we get emails like Colleen gave me that I just read off. It's like, I'm running out, man. How fast can you give me this stuff? It's awesome. I got a race coming up. And so it's really amazing stuff. And a little bit comes off the top to help the ZenTri podcast, and it goes into the ZenTri fund to do things like register for races and bring you race reports and cool news about like what's going on in the sport and how to train and how to do fun stuff and how to balance everything so that you can keep getting better and better and better. And yeah, so cool. It's a really cool way for you to get something really neat and enjoy, kind of a novelty product, but that actually works. It's pretty neat. And also support the show at the same time and show it to your friends. Stuff comes from New Zealand and it's made from killer Japanese hornet saliva. And your friends will be like, oh my God, that is nuts. You're crazy. So that's right, I'm crazy. Stay out of my way because it's about to get crazy all up in here with this hornet juice. Anyway, all right. That is enough of all that kind of stuff. Let's go ahead and get started with the training log. I take you with me doing a whole bunch of crazy, stupid stuff out there. I get the big training going on for the Rocky Raccoon. I run 2 days back to back, 17 and a half miles each on trails, and I try out 2 different types of fueling. Vitargo, Vitargo, which you'll find out later on the show whether I like it or not. And then on day 2, I try just maltodextrin powder and some Gatorade mixed in with it. And I compare the two and compare the results directly on back-to-back days and big, epic days. And it was my final big push for Rocky Raccoon 50 training. And I take you with me during all that. So I hope you enjoy it. All right, let's get started with the training log. Everybody buckle down, and here we go.
You are entering the ZenTri training log zone. Huneli.
Hi everybody, my name's Brett. I'm a triathlete. Hi Brett.
I decided it's time I got some friends more suited to my status.
But Joe, we've been friends for years.
Hey, we all make mistakes. Come on, dudes, let's go exercise! Exercise! Yeah! I'm gonna do sit-ups till I poop myself!
Welcome to a new training log. Start date, January 27th, 2015. And I'm leaving Freebirds. Woohoo! Best burrito shop in the world. Makes Chipotle look like a loaded diaper. But anyway, two things going on. One, having a little sip of Diet Pepsi. Oh, wait. I don't eat or drink on the show anymore. Or something like that. Anyway, I had defensive driving this morning. Half of it. I got the other half tomorrow. Why am I in defensive driving? Because I went through a stop sign in the middle of nowhere, Texas, on my bicycle. So that's why I'm in defensive driving. Anyway, if I think of some defensive driving tips. Oh, you want to make somebody, you want to encourage somebody to wear seatbelts in your car? Get up to, I don't even know, like 5 miles per hour, 10 miles per hour. Parking lot speed, like really, really, really slow. Doesn't take much. And then slam on your brakes. And when they go flying across the car, go, that was at 5 miles per hour. Now, how would you enjoy your trip doing that at 30? But anyway, I digress. The defensive driving is tolerable because cops try to make it more fun. And, and they pick good ones for the job. And ours is a motorcycle cop. And I just sit there and bite my tongue sometimes because there's people talking about, in California, they allow motorcycles to split lanes. And I wanted to say, yeah, well, actually, it's not that bad. Because if you're in California and you're on a motorcycle and you do it responsibly, you can split lanes just fine. And it saves you a ton of time in traffic. And it gets people on motorcycles and less, it congests the roads less and things like that. So it's all about... perception is all about your location. So if you're on a motorcycle and you're splitting lanes safely, then it's the greatest thing ever, and you can't stand it that in Texas they don't allow you to do it. And if you're in Texas and you see somebody split lanes on a motorcycle, you think they need to be shot because they are so stupid. But anyway, there was something else. Hold on. I wanted to talk about my baked potato trick, which is actually really cool. I found out over time, you cook a baked potato in the microwave. It's super easy to do. First, scrub it. Scrub it down, turn it over, scrub it again, get all the dirt off the outside, but not too much. And you want to leave the peel on because the peel is really, really good for you. It's got a whole bunch of fiber and stuff in it and vitamins and stuff. I think the healthiest part of the potato is the peel. But anyway, 5 minutes in the microwave, flip it over, turn it around. Another 5 minutes. Make sure you poke holes in it first with a fork or else it'll explode. You'll have a exploding spud situation. And then, what do? Let it cool down just a little bit. And then, if you're not going to eat it right then, throw it in a Ziploc bag. And then throw something else in that Ziploc bag that you like for flavor. A1 sauce is really good. Something, it doesn't have to be crazy low calorie, but just spices and stuff. And I guess you could throw out a little bit of cheese or something like that in there if you're into that kind of stuff. And I do A1 or Worcestershire sauce, Lee and Perrins. And man, I really like that. Today I had just the tiniest bit of sausage in there, mix it with it. I take a little bite of sausage and eat a bite of baked potato. Anyway, so I'm sitting in I call it driver's ed. Defensive driving is what I'm in. And I'm in defensive driving, and the instructor asked how long we've been driving, underage or not. He didn't really care. Or what age we started when we were driving. And I said, I don't know, like 12. Something like that. And everybody turned and looked at me, and I go, Alabama. And they go, oh, yeah. That's all I had to say. It's just Alabama. And then the other thing, so I reach in my bag of goodies. So I'm doing defensive driving, right? And I've learned, Christine Lynch, Holistic Guru, is really good about this. You're responsible for your own food intake, okay? If there's any way possible for you to bring your own food with you, then it is your own. you don't have to be a freaking victim out there and go, oh, I had to eat a Twinkie because that's all they had. No, you can bring a bag of food with you. And the more you do it, the more you learn that food will last, like a day or something like that before it goes bad. And then you learn what a pansy you are over having to have things hot or cold or whatever. Just freaking room temperature, right, is fine. Just think about cavemen walking around. They didn't heat anything or whatever. They may have a fire, cook it. But then, anyway, so I'm sitting there. I open up my Ziploc bag out of my bag next to my stuff on the table for this class, because they said we could eat or drink in the class. They didn't care. And I open up my bag, pull out a Ziploc bag with a baked potato in it, and I just start eating it out of the Ziploc bag like it's a 40 in a paper bag. And the girl sitting next to me just stared at me like, all right. And she said, "Are you eating a baked potato?" And I said, "Yep." And she goes, "Huh? Oh yeah, it's pretty good," like that. And that was it, man. People worry so much what other people are going to think or say or do when you try to do something that's not normal. But I can tell you that what is normal in society is usually weak and lazy and the road to nowhere. So you got to be different to actually get results that are admired or looked at as somewhat useful. So, but anyway, so the baked potato trick in a Ziploc bag, man. I cooked it this morning in the microwave while I was getting ready for work. And then had two things happen. I finally had my Garmin 920 die on me just in the middle of the afternoon at work, and because I ran down the battery. And I think it's the there's two things. So when you have a Suunto Ambit and it's not Bluetooth, so like an Ambit 2 or 1 or 2, then you gotta hook it up to download workouts. Well, guess what it does when you hook it up by a cable? It charges it. So I think maybe one time in like 5 years I ran out of battery with my Ambit, and I'm having to really watch it on the Garmin because you just upload workouts and you don't ever hook it up to anything. So I'm trying to learn the habit of putting it on a charger every once in a while. I guess I need to find out, if you think about it, when is a good time to do it every couple of days, and then it'll become a habit. Like every couple of days when I do X, I put my charger on the watch, my watch on the charger. And then also the Bluetooth, the Bluetooth function that gives you alerts on your wrist is sketchy, and I think it's because I use Bluetooth headphones a lot, and I think the two different Bluetooths, the headphones versus the watch, confuse the phone, and then you end up with the watch doesn't get alerts and stuff like that. And I'm also it's okay. I'm a little bit over it. When the last time my watch wasn't getting alerts, I was like, oh, good. I was like, oh, wow, that was weird. Why good? And I thought, it's annoying, man. It's freaking annoying, like the buzzing and stuff all the time, and dumb alerts, and it's not terribly annoying, but it's one of those things where when it doesn't work, I can enjoy it not working, right? There's a Zen thing where the main goal is to learn to not be offended, to be unoffendable, which means the problem is when we have opinions and strongly held beliefs about stuff, well, then you end up constantly defending your position or angry or upset when presented with positions that are different than your own. And if you work towards being amicable, I think is the word, where you can go along with anything pretty much without it bothering you too much, then that's a really nice goal to work towards and to achieve. And So like this morning when I went for a run, I forgot to put my phone on the charger last night, and my phone was dead this morning, so I needed to put on a charger. And knowing that I would be in classes and stuff like that, I wanted my phone to have a full charge before I left the house this morning. So I went running without my phone so that it could charge up. And so I went without my phone, and without my phone, then I don't have any music, so I just went running without it. And it was nice. And I'm like, oh, let's use this as an opportunity to not have it and enjoy that. And so when the Bluetooth alerts don't work on the watch, it's like, oh, let's use this as an opportunity to not have it. When the AC is broken in your house, use it as an opportunity to relax and do some heat training. And sometimes going without stuff, kind of changes your perspective a little bit. And it's nice. I remember when Emily and I were moving back from California to Texas, we had to move some stuff in a big moving van from our house to a storage facility across town, San Diego, just briefly. And we had patio furniture and stuff like that in the back of our moving van. And the moving van broke down. We had a blowout on the tire or something like that. So we pulled over on the side of the freeway, and we were on like 405 or 80, the 8, or what they call them all freeways out there. They call them all the something instead of just freeway. And what I mean is in Texas, Highway 45 is called 45, and in California they would call it the 45. It's really weird. But so we're on the side of the 405 or whatever it is. On a grassy knoll, and I said, hey, let's just chill, man. We got chairs and patio furniture and magazines actually in the back of the moving van. So we pulled them out, and because it was going to be a while till we got help, and so we pulled them out on the side of the highway and sat down in lawn furniture on the side of the highway with all this traffic going by, and read surfing magazines while we waited. Almost set up the umbrella, but yeah, it's cool. It's a cool little Zen approach to stuff. So, all right, I got to go into W to the ERK and get some stuff done. You do too. Get going. All right, back. Really nice swim this morning. Really crappy run last night, which I'll get to in a second, because the swim's more fun to talk about. So I got in the pool this morning and decided just to swim constant. And maybe refuel along the way if I felt like I needed it. Otherwise, just go at a steady state. And I think that's good every once in a while to validate your performance, to validate your training. And it was fantastic. I was just cruising along, kind of easy at first, and then moderate. Held it so that it burned just the slightest bit in the shoulders, and ended up swimming 4,020 meters in exactly an hour, and it's a weird length pool. Anyway, that's 130 per 100 meter pace, and in yards that's a 121. So I held a 121 for pace for an hour for 4,000 and something meters. It was pretty freaking cool, man. I got out and I was like, holy crap. And I'm wearing the Garmin, and it tells you, instantly what you're doing. And then it uploads it to the interwebs pretty quick. So that was really, really nice. And good validation from last night's crappy run, where I didn't feel right. Even yesterday morning on the bike, I didn't feel exactly right. And then last night it complex, and then got worse on the run, where I just didn't have any energy. And so the self-control wise thing to do is to stop. If things aren't going right, that's how you get overtrained, is you're like, man, I'm struggling, I got to keep up my pace like I usually do, and then you end up just digging a huge hole that you can never get out of until you finally stop. So I just stopped and walked home, and my dog kept jogging like, hey, come on, what's the problem, yo? And I was like, no, dude, we're walking. I jogged some of the downhills back, but it was, of course, it's frustrating. And then you spend a lot of time trying to figure out what happened. And honestly, I think it's over the past couple days, because of stress and a tighter schedule, I've eaten more meat, like egg tacos and stuff like that, than usual. But I've still been paying attention to not trying to eat too much. And so the ratio of what's usable for you gets all out of whack. So that's a whole lot more fat and protein and nowhere near as much carbs as I'm usually used to eating. And I think the energy level just drops out of the bottom. So last night before I went to bed, I stuffed my face with carbs and then crashed to sleep. I ate a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and on some pretty lame bread and some Girl Scout cookies. I think that's about all I could take. And and a bowl of granola cereal. And then crashed. And then this morning knocked out this great freaking swim. So yeah, it's pretty cool, eh? Oh, and then last night, is that a Ducati? No, that's a Moto Guzzi. Nice bike, yo. I bet you that's a Moto Guzzi. Cool. My old boss had a Moto Guzzi El Dorado California Highway Patrol Edition from the 70s. That's what they originally used in Chips, the TV show. And then as the show went on, they switched over to Harleys. But at first they were using Moto Guzzis. So I used to ride motorcycles. Then, Kai asked me last night, something was said about meditation, but I wasn't saying meditation. It was a different word entirely that sounded like meditation. I don't remember what it was. I was talking to Emily. And then Kai goes, "You meditate?" like that. And I go, "Yeah, actually I do sometimes." And he goes, "What?" And I said, "Yeah, you want to try it?" And he goes, "Nah, I guess so." And I go, "Come on, let's go do it." And he goes, "No, I don't want to." And then I made him. I'm in charge. I'm 42. You're 10. You're going to do what I say. And so I took him into a quiet room, and the dogs came in there too, and they were just sitting there just panting, you know. And then I showed him that you can sit cross-legged and do the thing where you touch your thumb to your forefingers and stuff and try to sit upright, and then your butt's on the ground and then your feet are on the ground underneath you, so that's 3 points of contact. Unless you count your butt as 2 points with each butt cheek, but they tend to count that as one. And then, and I said, this is classic meditation that you'll hear and see, you know, people talking about. And I said, but actually, all this is to try to create something for you to focus on, so that as you try to focus on it, and then you'll find you have something to focus on. And it's slightly difficult, and that's the whole point, or moderately difficult. It's something moderately difficult that you try to focus on, and then you'll realize that your mind drifts away. And then because you know the whole drill is to focus on the thing, the sitting, then you remember to bring your mind back. And I said, that's the drill. And that's meditation. And I said, but Zen masters will tell you that it's a trick, that people get caught up in trying to focus on the breath and then try to get excellent at not thinking about anything else, you know, and then feel more accomplished if they can think about nothing else, and then feel like they've failed every time that your mind starts drifting. And the Zen masters will tell you that's actually the opposite of that, that it's supposed to teach you that you can't control your mind. So every time your mind drifts away, that's another reminder that you're not in charge. And it's all a trick. It's all a trick about how, just a reaffirmation that what's going on is the monkey mind, and that your goal in life is to not let the monkey mind run away with your mind and not to believe in it. That's really what's going on. And then I said, and then the way I use it is to calm the mind, and then whatever the monkey mind's yelling about, that pulls you away from trying to, and I just sit up in bed and leaning my back against the headrest, and I showed him that. I said the monkey mind is yelling about, those are things that are taking up brain cycles, and if you take care of those things, then you'll be a much calmer and person and able to pay attention and get more stuff done and be relaxed and enjoy life. And I said, and that is it. And he was like, that's pretty cool. And I said, yeah, just do it every once in a while. Sit down and try to think of nothing. And I said, so we did that. Try to think of nothing, and then what are the things that come to mind when you try to think of nothing? Those are the things you need to take care of. And after a while, he goes, I got to do this book report. I go, yeah. Now, let's say you start working on that. After we're done here, your mind is going, and heart and soul is going to be so happy because you're working on the things that are truly bothering you when you try to do nothing else. Those are the things that keep interrupting your flow. And you take care of those things, and then you're able to have a better day. And he's like, oh, cool. So then so late last night, right before he went to bed, I said, hey, anytime you want to meditate, man, you can do it anytime. You can sit in class and get quiet. You can, well, mostly I said just class. Or you get home, you can turn off the TV and just kind of do that. Anywhere you're sitting, just kind of relax and try to think of nothing, and whatever pops up is what you need to take care of. Anytime, any place, man. I told him about the airport. If you can do it at the airport, then you're a real master with all the distractions going on. And he was like, yeah, cool. All right, that's it. I got to go. Bye. All right. I just did a 3-hour trail run. We're going to talk about it for a second. Ooh, I was warm. Now I'm cold. I'm in the ZenTri Mobile Studios, the Nissan Xterra, and I'm about to put it in gear and drive across a pasture. These trails are at a farm that's slowly, eventually turning into a recreation park. Trails, mountain biking. There was a high school mountain biking group, like a club, high school, from the local high school that was all out mountain biking. Anyway, 3-hour trail run. On the way here, I ate an Amrita bar for fuel, which ended up being great, man. It was exactly what I needed. And Amrita bars, I should give them a plug. You get 15% off Amrita bars with discount code ZEN at amritahealthfoods.com. What is my watch saying? Power save. The Garmin 920 worked fine. I did live tracking before I took off running. And for working out, I like liquid fuel a lot. I'll do Amrita bars and stuff, but a lot of times I like liquid fuel. And I made a batch of Vitargo, Vitargo, Vitargo. I'm not recommending it. Okay, just because I started talking about it doesn't mean I'm recommending it. I haven't figured out how to use this stuff yet. It works, and it works great, but it's when you mix it, it is clumpy, sticky, messy. I mean, this stuff is just, it's a disaster. It's the worst performing as far as handling and getting it into your freaking mouth. It's the worst performing ever. But on the other hand, it might be the best performing. Let me close the window here. It might be the best performing fuel as far as keeping your stomach from getting sick, and that's a big problem I have. And so I'm trying to work on how to do it. So let me tell you about some of the hilarity while I was out there. So I mixed it too thick, and I have it in a flask, and I can't get it out of the flask. It sets up like pancake batter, like cookie dough, and I can't get it to come out. And so I start using break off a stick, and I'm pouring water into the bottle and jamming the stick up and down like I'm churning butter. And this stuff is so weird. It's like slimy, and then once you mix it once, it doesn't want to mix again unless you and when you got to mix it up you don't have to, but the best way to mix it is in a blender, and I used a cake mixer the past few times I've made it. And then if you're making a gel out of it, a concentrated mix, if you get the flavored kind, it is so sweet, and it's a sick, gross sweet that, because I think they use aspartame as a sweetener. And I'm like, man, just use sugar, you know? Because the whole thing is it's sugar-free. But it's, but basically it's barley, and it's barley starch that's been proprietary, you know, all that stuff, method of heating it and tempering it. So it gives you, what it does is it gives you, they say in different parts of the literature it's fast release or slow release. I can't tell what the hell is going on with this stuff, but it freaking works. And but let me figure out a way to get it to work, because it's also expensive before you go off trying it. And I'm kind of where I'm at now is I'm at if you want to mix it into a gel, make sure it's a gel that's like syrup, and buy the unflavored and add like Gatorade powder or honey to it or something like that to flavor it yourself, and then and give it a little bit of light flavor, and then you might be all right. So anyway, if you let it sit out too long and too thick, it'll frickin' turn into hardened gel like a goo chomp, which some people might like. So I don't know. Anyway, it's expensive, so it's a little much to be playing around with and trying to figure it out on your own and throwing money away while you're doing it. So I'll report back on if I ever get the stuff to work right. I had a bike ride last night just using maltodextrin powder and honey that was just freaking off the charts. So I'm not convinced that this is the best stuff. But anyway, when I did eat too much or not drink enough water, I would get the slightest pain in my stomach, but it was only very, very, very slight, and it easily went away. And this is my second workout that I've gone long, and then at the end of the workout been able to go really hard and not had problems, you know, like felt fine. So what it doesn't seem to do is allow me to raise my heart rate up real high and hammer hard. I think it might be a little bit too slow acting for that. So I got a lot of stuff bouncing around in my head on how to do the Rocky Raccoon with this stuff. But anyway, trail running. I just got a new pair of Energy Boost, Adidas Energy Boost, and they're working fine. It's trail running shoes. And I ordered them straight from Adidas.com. And the biggest thing that I've been working on is drinking more water with my fuel so that my stomach doesn't hurt. And you're talking a liter per hour, at least, liter and a half. And I wasn't quite drinking that much because I wanted to go out and trail run. So I went out a trail and then back for 45 minutes. Well, out 45 minutes and back 45 minutes. So that was an hour and a half. And then I did it again the other direction, out and back. So ended up with 3 hours. And it was just cruising along just fine, you know. I ran out of water towards the end of both runs, and ended up being just fine. And usually with super simple sugar kind of crap, your stomach will start hurting and all that kind of stuff. So I was happy to see that. I am not sponsored by Jaybirds. I just use the heck out of them. I want to give them another plug, thumbs up. Running along, I'm listening to Asian meditation music for a long time. And then with the last 20 minutes or something like that, I put it on thrash metal, which is like Metallica and Pantera. I see two runners over the horizon. And I've learned to hold that kind of stuff off till the end. Or else you'll end up going too hard early and then get hurt or get sick or dehydrated or something like that. But anyway, so I'm just jogging along, jamming out, and these are Bluetooth wireless phones, and I'm listening, to Pandora, and phone rings, and the Garmin 920 shows on it that it's Emily calling. This is really cool technology. And then so I hit the button on the side of the headphones on the cord, there's a cord that runs between the two earpieces, and that's it. And Emily's like, "Where the heck are you?" And I'm like, "You're live tracking me, right?" She's like, "Well, yeah, but where are you?" I did it. I published it as a live track before I got going, and I was like, "Well, I'm running, you know." And she said, "But you've been gone like an hour or 2 hours or something." There's a spider on my eyeglasses. Hold on, dude. It's not a spider. It's a housefly. It's Teensy, the housefly. And I said, "Okay, but I'm going long, 3 hours today, trail running, as my last long trail run." And she's like, "I need you to get back so that you can help me put stuff in the attic and da-da-da." And I'm like, "Okay, cool." I got about 25 minutes left, I think is what I had on the trail. And then I'm leaving the parking lot, and then I'll be at the house. And I said, "Cool." And that's really cool. All that technology, hands-free, working, super smooth. It's a little expensive right now, but at least it's mass consumer, and so it'll keep going down in price as competition starts picking up. Trying to get it to happen. And I think that was about it for the run. When you're going long on stuff like that, you got to restrain yourself, and you know, and long is relative. It's whatever's long for you. So a 3-hour run is pretty long for me, and it's on trails, you know. So you start off going really, really easy, and just like you're sightseeing, just cruising along, just easy. And it feels too easy at first, but if it's long for you, it is going to hurt at the end. And it started to, you know, kind of mess with me a little bit. And I think I ran 3 hours and 1 minute. Oh, it ended up being pretty much exactly the time for doing a loop of the Rocky Raccoon 50. So I was actually a little bit ahead of pace if I was trying to break my old PR of 9:40. You know, at that pace I was doing a 9:05 or something like that. And so that would be a huge PR break for me. But you got to watch out for that stuff, man. It feels good one lap. Stuff starts coming undone, dude, as you keep going. It gets messy there towards the end. I got little twinges of pain here and there. My butt cheeks hurt for a little bit. You know, that's kind of like upper hamstring kind of stuff. And then my outside of my right knee has always been a little bit weird. It gets weird and starts hurting and stuff like that. A little bit of tendonitis in there, always. And then the front of one of my knees started hurting. But anyway, the very last part of the run, I kind of did it on purpose, sort of took advantage of it, thought it might happen this way, is like a 7-minute hill or something like that. And so I ran up that at not as totally fast as I could go, but because I'd been out of water for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. And but I ran up it pretty strong to finish as a good test. And that's how I knew that the fueling was pretty good and everything was nice. So that is how you do a trail run for training for something. All right, I'm at the house. I'm going to have a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. Oh, the last weekend I did a whole bunch of stuff. And then for a few days in the middle of the week, I felt like crap, man. And so I think I already talked about this. I really upped the carbs and stuff to recover. And it worked. It took about a day, but then bam, man, I felt freaking awesome. And bouncing off the walls around the house and stuff. So it works. It works. You got to stay on top of your carbs. All right, that's it. Out, bang. All right, it is Sunday morning. Just one day from yesterday, and I'm going to head back out and run the trails again. Yesterday's run was 3-hour run, was pretty good, and now I'm going to try to improve on it. And if I do Saturday and Sunday back-to-back days of 3 hours, that should be well, then that gives me 5 days of recovery before I do the actual Rocky Raccoon. But I have a big news-ish. I don't know if it's really news, but a big find where I found my detailed, super in-depth notes from the Rocky Raccoon 50 of 2013, which would be 2 years ago, where I had my best ever race results. And hold on, it's the car windows are foggy. It rained a little bit last night, so the trails are going to be a little bit muddy, which is it's good training grounds. Make the trails just a little bit tougher than they need to be. And I mean, like, super detailed because I did so well. And my recovery the next days was off the charts. I had in my notes that I was jumping around on a trampoline and had tons of energy and stuff like that, which is really, really perfect for knowing what I did, so that when I do the Ultra Baby, which is an Ultraman, because that's 3 days in a row of about 9 hours probably, of how I did it. Okay, so the most interesting stuff was I used Course Nutrition, which was gels. And then in there, I was like, man, I was sick of freaking gels by the time I was done. But anyway, and then in there it said, make your own fuel that's like gels. Because when you're going through their gels, it's, there's a mixed bag of caffeine. And I had to really argue at aid stations, like, where is the non-caffeine ones? Because if you keep taking caffeine, you're going to get sick. And you have to pick through all the gels that have caffeine so you don't take too much caffeine to try to find some that don't have caffeine. And it sucks. It really does suck, because then you seem like a picky jerk at the aid station. And the volunteers don't need that from racers. They need nice racers. Anyway, so make your own gel. And then I said my stomach hurt off and on from it, and I should drink more water. And today I'm going to try that. I'm going to try a method to bring extra water to me. I'll tell you about after the run. And then so I made my own fuel last night. I'm not using Vitargo. I've decided that is just such a pain in the ass that. And yesterday afternoon and evening, I was pretty much I was tired, and tired-ish, and didn't get much done. And I think that's just from not enough calories while I was running. And that was only a 3-hour run, And then my mix of fuel, which is maltodextrin, Gatorade powder, and a little bit of green tea mixed in for caffeine, is green tea powder, which is matcha, M-A-T-C-H-A, is good stuff. And I'm going to mix a little bit. I'm going to take half of a Tums and see how my stomach feels. And then, what was my point? My point is I'm going out for a second day with a change in fueling to see if this is better than the day before. And back-to-back days is good stuff. And also having taken notes from, and being able to find the notes is huge, from previous days is going to be really, really nice. Man, it rained a lot. Crap, man. It's going to be mudfest out there. Anyway, so take notes on stuff that works and then work with it. Ian Sharman won the Rocky Raccoon 100 yesterday. They do the 100 and the 50 on different weekends. And he ran it in like 13 hours and 33 minutes, which is like a very low 8-minute mile for 100 miles on trails. Isn't that crazy that somebody can just do that? Run 8-minute miles on trails for 100 miles, for 13 hours, 13 and a half hours. That's not even the record. The record's a 12-something that he almost broke a few years ago. So Ian's from the UK, and he lives in America right now. Anyway, all right, I'll be back in a bit. Oh, I should say, I've been meaning to dig up this my notes from this race with the fueling, because it's been a while, and I'm like, man, if I could just do this for an Ironman. You're talking my Rocky 50 in 2013. I got in the top 13%. That's where I landed, top 13% of racers, right? And I'm not a very good runner. I'm a better runner now than I was then, and I'm not a great runner. You know, I'm 182 pounds. You know, I'm not 130 pound, 140 pound little scrawny guy. And I got top 13%. And the graph, I was using a Sunto Ambit, and the graph for my heart rate and effort and all that stuff was just a flat level line around 130 something beats per minute. And then as the race continued on, my speed, there's also my speed graph, and you can compare all of them at once. Continued on, flat level, just awesome. And then at the very end of the race, the last half of the last lap, I started to increase the effort and increase the pace, and you can see the heart rate just climb gradually. So there was no bottoming out, no failure, and with those detailed notes of exactly what I did and how, that's something that you could replicate on the in an Ironman, right? So it was 9 hours and 37 minutes. So that's a sub 10 hour Ironman, exactly how I fueled and what I did to make it happen, you know? And if you could do that in a 50-mile trail run race, then you can do that. You could remove a lot of that running and add in, biking. I mean, come on, it's way easier than running. And then swimming, you know, you're in a cool bath of nice cool water, you know, just cruising along, having a nice time. Yeah, so in my eternal quest for a sub 10 hour Ironman, it was awesome to dig up these notes. So I'm super excited, and we'll see how it pans out. You know, every race day is different, but it was good to find them and find that one time I did what worked. I did something that worked really well. It was basically gels to by feel, and then if I was going up a big hill, I took a little bit more gel, and then kind of recovered on the way down, and it worked great. And I just wished that I drank a little bit more water because my stomach freaking hurt, and I was doing nearly 4 gels per hour. But that's that thing where it's like you got to learn to cram in calories, you know. And if you learn to cram in calories, you can go faster and stronger. And it doesn't seem like fun, but it works. Okay, out. Let's go for a test run. Oh, in my notes, I know this is going on and on. In my notes, I'm just so excited about this. I had in there that the night before I ate vegetarian pizza at a restaurant, and I have the restaurant in there, and I don't want to say it because I don't want to get the place booked up before the race. I want to make sure I can find a seat. And then also what I ate for breakfast, I had raisin bran with coconut milk and a bagel, and then hornet juice and beet juice as something to sip on before the race, before we got going. So, all right, that's it. Bing. All right, I'm back. That was very successful. Wow, I'm standing outside my Nissan Xterra with the door open, trying to stay out of the wind. Got a nice breeze, sunny day, partly cloudy, about 50-50. 60 degrees probably right now. Started off around 60-something degrees. And yeah, it really, really worked. I'll detail here. But you can tell it worked because when I finished, I ran 17.4 miles in 3 hours and 20 seconds or something like that, which is hey, there's a squirrel. Literally, squirrel. There's a had back-to-back days of running this on trail, 17 miles, and I felt better today than yesterday. So yesterday, the whole time I was running on this Vitargo stuff, I had slight tunnel vision, like I wasn't getting quite enough calories. And then today, most of the time, I had very clear vision, and that's an indicator to me that I'm fueling right. when I start underfueling, I get just the tiniest bit foggy and the tiniest bit problem tracking my vision a little bit, and it's just low blood sugar getting to the brain, and then you can really tell it worked because when I finished, I dropped all my stuff in the grass in the meadow. I'm in a clover and grass meadow, and I ended up after a second stretching my arms out like Jesus. And then spinning lazily in the sunshine, like a little girl that had just found her best unicorn, you know. So I was like, that's a good sign. And almost the entire run, I was singing out loud to myself. I came upon a huge deer, and also there's lots of signs, grass and dirt rooted up, which is a sign that there's wild boar out here, and they tend to stay away from people, but you don't want to come around a corner and surprise one because they will F you up, and they're like 500 pounds, you know. So I started singing out loud, and that's my best indicator that my fueling is well. If I'm spontaneously singing out loud and all that kind of stuff and humming to myself, then my fueling is right on track. Keep doing what you're doing. At the very beginning, I drank too much fuel, and my stomach started to hurt. And so I just drank water until it went away. And I think the improvement there, what I used to do that was wrong, was I just wouldn't eat anything, and then I would get more dehydrated. But doing water on top of that, it went away, and then I ended up feeling fine. So my fuel was maltodextrin powder, like 3/4 maltodextrin powder, 1/4 Gatorade powder with some sea salt, extra sea salt added in, and a little green tea matcha powder. And because this was day 2, I took a couple of ibuprofen. I spaced them out, and one at the beginning and one halfway through, and that took the edge off of it a little bit. And also, I was doing live tracking, so Emily knew where I was. And then, it may sound a little nuts to be running 17.5 miles back-to-back the weekend before my race. But actually, I feel fine, and it's not that hard. I wasn't, pushing it. The very last hill I did push it to see how my fuel was holding up, and it felt great. And the extra water really helped a lot. I was carrying... every time I left my car, I was carrying 46 ounces of fluids and fuel. That's a lot, but it's worth it. And that's what you have to do to get stuff done sometimes. And where's my car keys? Okay. And so while I was running, I was like, what kind of training would you call this, I would say long, but gentle, but firm. It was not huge hills, but just little gullies kind of here and there, and then long, gentle climbs. And so I was able to push it at the pace I wanted to give myself a good workout and all that stuff. And this will almost be the end of the show. We'll be able to tell if this was good fueling if I'm bouncing off the walls this afternoon and when I get home. That thing where I was like spinning around in the meadow with my arms out after I was all done, like that at home later on. So yesterday's fueling wasn't good because with the Vitargo, because I was I felt just the tiniest bit, not quite 100% aware in there, and that's a sign that you're under fueling. And then yesterday afternoon, I kind of lazed around the house and got nothing done, in spite of needing to get a whole bunch of stuff done. And that's how you can tell for sure. Because in my notes for the Rocky Raccoon, where I did the 50 and did really, really well, in there it says that the next day, that night, I went to go watch UFC fights with friends at a bar, and then the next day I was jumping on the trampoline with my son and just having a good old time, So that's good fueling. because it helps you recover and keep going. So that's what I want. We'll see later on today. All right, I'm going to drive home, have a beer and some leftover vegetarian pizza from last night. All right, out, bang. Oh, and of course I'm back. The other thing that is really cool is if you do challenging days back to back, and you do them okay and you improve on it, it's a really good confidence builder. My biggest training that I ever did for anything was 3 days in a row of 5 hours each swimming in a pool to train for the Lake Tahoe swim. So what that ended up being was 11 miles a day on the dot, 5 hours for 3 days in a row. And then so that's 33 miles, right? And by the end of that, by the third day, I got a feeling of how to do this. About halfway through the third day, I was like, okay, this is a pace. This freaking hurts, but I can do it. And this I'll be okay. I figured out how to fuel. I figured out how to just keep going and how to do it. And so, and then it was a real confidence builder, because I always say Lake Tahoe was 22 miles, and I swam 33 miles just over 3 days. So I could probably swim 22 miles in one day if I kind of slowed it down a little bit, and it'll be all right. And it ended up being perfect. So 2 days back to back because swimming is a lot more gentle, of long runs, and getting your fueling kind of nailed down is a huge confidence builder. And then what you end up doing is you learn what's the right pace and what you're capable of, so that on race day, you don't do something stupid like go out too fast. You've learned to appreciate that what your speed really is, and then and that it's okay. It's okay to go this slow, because in the end, you're going to freaking hurt. So, all right, that's it. Out, bang. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up this show. Woo! Man, lots of stuff happening as we get within 6 days of the race. 5 days, 6 days. Anyway, it's Monday morning. I'm driving to work. I'm stuck at a red light. But let's see. How did recovery go after that big run yesterday compared to the day before? So remember the day before, I was feeling all sluggish and blah, blah. And then yesterday, I got home and I wasn't quite bouncing off the walls, but it was way different. I took Kai to drop him off at cycling practice, and I was on his bike riding loops around a few of the kids while they were throwing the football. Those are all just indicators. And I felt just great and fine, and got a bunch of coaching done and stuff like that. I was still tired, and went to bed early, and then this morning really didn't feel like going swimming. But my hours last week totaled to almost 15 hours, which is nice that you can add all this stuff up. So yeah, fueling was way better, and still managed to not get in enough water, and I could tell because after I turned off the mic and I was driving along and I took a big glug of water, I had a sharp pain in my gut, and that's in my case, that's water activating the fuel, and then the fuel hitting the stomach lining, now at an ability for the stomach to start working with it, and it freaking hurt. I've noticed that happens if I get backed up with fuel and not enough water to digest it, like on the way home from races or stuff like that. So I'm pretty excited about everything, especially when I started thinking about that, that 17 and a half miles that I ran a little bit faster than my Rocky Raccoon pace. That was by GPS, and GPS doesn't take into account the exact amount of twisting and turning that a twisty course actually has. So I could have actually been going faster. And today my quads aren't sore at all, which has to do with doing the polarized training and doing intervals to make my quads sore. And it seems like the work I did over the weekend toughened me up without too much adverse effect. And speaking of training and being tough and healthy and fit, I'd like to give a shout out to a show sponsor, Sound Probiotics, soundprobiotics.com, Sound, Sound. They have a sport version of probiotics, and what this does is it's a little capsule, and it's got healthy, happy bacteria in it that they've picked out specifically for athletes, because athletes are different. We're living life actively and doing all kinds of fun, crazy stuff, and the kinds of food we need and that we use, the nutrients that we use are different than just a lazy person. And we really appreciate this. This is good stuff. So having the right bacteria in your gut helps you digest your food and beefs up your immune system dramatically so that you don't get sick as much. And I'm really excited about that, because if you're not sick, guess what you're doing? You're getting stuff done, and you're training, and you're not missing races and stuff. So let's keep our fingers crossed that this all works. You can get, it's scientifically it works, but I'm just saying, Rocky Raccoon coming up, you never know, what's going to happen before the race. The weather looks like it's going to be cool in the morning and then warm as the day goes on. And you can get Sound Probiotics 10% off, I think. It's either 10 or 15%. I'm driving. I don't have it on me. I think it's 10% off with discount code ZenTri at soundprobiotics.com. Go check it out. Okay, so next episode, we are going to be doing the Rocky Raccoon. I will be taking the mic with me during parts of it. Listening to my old show, I didn't record anything during the race because I was so intent on racing that there's a real risk that I may not record anything while running this time as well. But Kai is going to be doing the kids race, the 1 mile trail run the day before, and we'll have a little bit of audio just kind of here and there. And so that'll be the gist, the main thread of next week's episode. So it's an ultra marathon on trails, 50 miles. Should take about as long as an Ironman. So we'll put fueling and training to the test and see what happens. So that'll be a really cool show. I am very happy to have everybody along at ZenTri and really appreciate people listening in and chiming in on Twitter. I'm Zen Triathlon on Twitter and also zentriathlon.com. So everybody, that was a lot of talking. About to lose my breath. I guess this weekend was pretty hard. It was 35 miles of running altogether on trails. Everybody stay safe out there. Work the uphills, cruise the downhills, and keep the rubber side down. And thanks, everybody, for listening to ZenTri. Stay safe.